So, I finally got my hands on TemTem. Let's talk about this.
Mistakes were definitely made.
Slim!
Y'all know what day it is? It's bath day.
Hey everybody, what is going on? Brandon here with a short video covering TemTem, the Pokemon-like clone that will be releasing on January 21st into early access. I was finally able to get in and play some of it over the stress test last weekend, and I just figured I'd do a little video giving you guys my thoughts on the current state of the game, how it was playing. I didn't get very far because it was just a stress test, but I figured I'd give you guys an idea of what to expect if you jump into this game on the 21st. First off, I want to talk about gameplay. Now, gameplay here was actually pretty fun. It was pretty enjoyable. Almost all matches are 2v2 matches. You get 2 TemTem out at a time versus 2 of whatever you're fighting. So if you're going against 2 trainers, they will each throw out 1 TemTem. If you're going against 1 trainer, he will throw out 2. Or if you're going against a TemTem monster in the wild, it could be 1 or 2. It just really depends on what you run into. And while the 2v2 combat was interesting, it was a little bit different, I don't think it was really required. I don't really think it added too much to the gameplay to change it from Pokemon. If you're used to the Pokemon combat system, I don't think it was really anything too revolutionary. It almost felt like more of a gimmick. It didn't really feel like it needed to be in the game, but it didn't take away from anything. So it was still really enjoyable. It did not take away from the experience of the game at all. I just don't really know if it was really necessary. There is a little bit of difference with the starter TemTem that you get. Normally, if you've played a lot of Pokemon, you know you get a grass type, a fire type, or a water type. This time in this game, the water type was replaced with a mental or a psychic type. Kind of looked like Mew, so I went that route because I'm a huge fan of Mew. That was one that I always was grinding to try to get. I actually, when I was a kid, went and competed in a tournament at Toys R Us and actually won an actual Mew on my Pokemon Yellow game. So this was like something I was really excited about. I definitely wanted to go with the Psychic type. I'm a huge fan of that type in Pokemon, so I definitely wanted to see what direction they went here. You also get a toucan that they give you. I'm gonna guess and say this is your normal type TemTem. They start you out basically with 2. You don't have to start out with 1. You get whichever one you pick, and then you get this little toucan thing. And these are the 2 that you start out with, and I'm guessing they just give you that second one because all the matches are 2v2, so they really wanted to make sure you had 2 of them on you if you were playing solo. Now, this game is an MMORPG. There is other players all around the world. That's why they were doing the stress test. Now, the stress test was a little rough because of how many people were playing. At one point in time, I think I was number 5,000 in queue, and it took me a while to get into the game. That was to be expected, though, so I'm really not going to talk too much about how the servers handled because it was a stress test. We were supposed to break the servers. That was the whole point of it. So I'm not going to really talk about performance. I will talk about that a little bit after the game finally launches and I play the launched version of the game. If there are any issues with servers, I might talk about that a little bit, but I'm not really going to jump too much into that. But I didn't get very far because it was a stress test and the servers kept going down, so I can't really talk too much about late game content. Mostly everything in this video is going to be early game content that you discover in the first hour, 2 hours worth of playing. But the game is an MMO, so you can play with your friends. You can actually go through the game and do 2v2 matches with your friends, and you're not playing alone, which is different. We didn't have that with Pokemon before. We have Poke MMO, which is awesome. I still play the hell out of it, especially since they made it available on Android. But this is definitely a good alternative if you don't have the money for Pokemon, or you just want something you can play with your friends that's a little cheaper and gives you that same feeling. This is definitely a great alternative. The combat looked good, the characters looked good, the world looked really good. I don't think I had any issues bug-wise with the game other than things that were related to the stress test. Aside from that, I don't think I actually had any in-game bugs affect me too much. Now, one thing that is different on the combat system that you won't see in Pokemon is instead of moves each having individual PP, you have a solid bar, and that is just your stamina bar for each of these monsters. So each monster has a stamina bar, and if you have so much stamina, you can use abilities. But there are special abilities that you cannot use until so many turns have passed. That is one thing that was very different, and actually I really enjoyed. There was nothing more infuriating than having Misty use Water Pulse in the first turn against a level 21 Pikachu with her level 19 Starmie and having it just wipe the Pikachu out. That was one thing that always got on my nerves, is being able to use those big super moves early on in the first turn before you even have a chance to come up with a defense or a strategy against the person. So this definitely, having these special moves, require you waiting a turn or two and only being able to use your basic moves starting out, definitely brings a little bit more depth and strategy into the game, and plus gives you a little bit more of a chance to just not get wiped out in the first turn. Another thing with the combat system, since it uses a stamina meter instead of individual points per move, sometimes you can actually use a move you don't have enough stamina for, but you will overexert yourself. And similar to Confusion in Pokemon, you will actually your monster will hurt itself with overexertion, and it actually won't be able to attack the next turn. It needs to recover stamina, which is different. It's something that's not in Pokemon at all. And it's something that adds a different level of strategy into the game. Like, you can make those risky moves if you think you're going to win, but you could end up hurting yourself in the end by overexerting your creature and then not being able to attack and just being open. So definitely adds a different layer of strategy to the game, something different that separates it from Pokemon and gives it a different level of engagement when it comes to the battle. So I'm definitely impressed with the combat system. I'm interested to see on how it plays out in the later game against bigger creatures, more powerful creatures with bigger movesets. I'm really interested to see how this game plays out in late game. I cannot wait to get back into the stress test again next week, and then the week after that, and then launch finally on the 21st. I am excited to actually put some time into this game and actually make more content for it, because I actually really enjoyed myself while I was able to play. The game kept me engaged, it kept me busy, the world looked really good, it didn't pull me out. A lot of times with these Pokemon clones, I'll play it for like 5 minutes and just be like, man, this game is just, it's too much like Pokemon and it's too much of a ripoff that I can't get into it. TemTem doesn't really feel like that. It feels like it takes inspiration from Pokemon, definitely, but it didn't feel like just a cheap knockoff. It felt like a game. It felt like developers put time and energy into it, and it felt like it was enjoyable, and it was meant to be enjoyable. It wasn't meant to be a cash grab, which is, it's kind of nice. I kind of like playing a game that is definitely taking inspiration. They're not hiding that fact, but it is a good game. They still at least put work into it, and you don't see that a lot. Now, the character customization in this game is very limited, at least it is right now as far as the stress test is concerned. I'm not sure what's going to be like on launch. Like I said, I will be covering this again on launch, but as of right now, the character customization is quite a bit limited. Hairstyles were mostly female. It took me a while to find a hairstyle I actually liked that didn't make my little guy look like a little girl, so it took me a while, but you know, I've played games with way worse character customization, so I'm not really too worried about that. If you're playing this game for the gameplay, you're probably not going to be too worried about what your character looks like. I mean, most of us grew up playing the Pokemon games where your character is the same thing. You don't get to change them, so it's not really that big of a deal. If they didn't add too much more to the character customization, I would say just add some more hairstyles. Add more hairstyles, and I think the game will do just fine. I don't think really character customization is going to hinder this game's performance as far as the marketplace is concerned, but we'll just have to wait and see how this game takes off with the general public. Next, let's talk about pricing. Now, they did just announce today this game is going to be $35 in the USA. In North America, it's going to be $35. And that has me a little on the fence. Not necessarily with me. I'm going to get the game. That's not really an issue. I'm going to be playing this game. But with other players. Now, on one hand, this game does not require other players to be online to play. It just requires the servers to be up. You can play this game as a single-player adventure just like you would Pokemon, which is good. Because if it relied heavily on the multiplayer aspect of it, charging $35 for early access is not really a good route to go. Games that have required multiplayer interaction and cost around that, almost all have failed. I've covered plenty of them on this channel that have come out for around that price and required people to be online in order to play, and they just crashed and burned. Now, with this game not requiring you to have somebody online to play with, it could still succeed at $35, but I do not see the player base being nearly as big as it would have been had they gone the route of making it $10 or even free-to-play. I think free-to-play would probably have been the better route to go here. There's a lot of ways you could make this game free-to-play and put it in that market and get away with it easily with just cosmetics and stuff for your TemTem and stuff for your character. That probably would have been the smarter route to go. If I'm being completely honest with a game like this, if you want a big player base and you want to make money, that's probably the way you want to do it. But who knows, it might do decent, it might do good enough at $35 a piece that it can stay around and survive, and I hope so because the game is enjoyable. From what I've played in the stress test, I'm starting to think this game might actually take my regular content spot for like where Realm Royale was, where I was doing content on a regular basis and doing tutorials on a regular basis and that kind of stuff. Since Realm Royale pretty much died, development ceased, I decided, you know, I need to find another game to fill that void on the channel, and I didn't want to do something that I didn't enjoy. I don't like playing games I don't enjoy, and I definitely don't like covering a game multiple times if I'm not enjoying it. And I enjoyed this, so I'm hoping that if they decide to keep the $35 price tag, that it goes well. But if not, I hope that they wise up real quickly and maybe make it a free-to-play or $10 or put it on sale or give a free weekend even, like something to get more people invested into the game and want to actually play it or buy it. Because I would like to do content on this regularly, and if there's no people playing the game, there's nobody going to come view the content, so it's kind of a back and forth relationship. Like, hopefully my content can draw in players, but hopefully players are also already there to come watch the content, so we'll see how that goes, but hopefully everything works itself out. But guys, that's all the time I got for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry I haven't been uploading a lot lately. We've had some serious stuff going on in my household, so I've been a little preoccupied trying to take care of people here, but I am trying to keep content coming. We got a couple big projects we're going to be announcing in the week, and just stay tuned for that, and hopefully I'll be back to regular uploads very shortly. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video and you want to see more, please do me a favor and hit that red subscribe button. If you want to know anytime Nathan or I upload videos, please do us a favor and ding that bell icon. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please do us a favor and mash that thumbs up button. Unless, of course, you're one of the easily offended snowflakes and you've already mashed that dislike button. I know you did. Anyway, check out some of our stuff over on the left. Check out some of our links down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.